So, today the topic which we are going to discuss is fundamental analysis. And fundamental analysis, what is the need to do fundamental analysis and what is fundamental analysis? So, fundamental analysis is a logical and systematic approach to estimate the future dividends and share prices. So basically, investment management and portfolio management, the basic purpose behind doing all these analysis and finding share value, the basic purpose is to find that what should be the price of the stock today, and at what price we can sell it tomorrow, or maybe whenever you want to sell, so that you can earn a reasonable amount of profit. But whenever you invest in market, there are different ways of investing. Like the very first way is to investing for a shorter duration. That shorter duration, maybe you want to invest, you just want to earn quick money. That quick money, for that quick money you invest for a very short duration, maybe a day or two. So that we call trading, right? And for trading, we do not have to do fundamental analysis, right? Because you want to make quick money, and that quick money can be earned with the help of just seeing the trend in the market, right? Like what is happening, what is the demand and supply. That's it. But when we want to invest in a particular security for a very long duration of time, and maybe we want to hold the security for maybe a year or two, like whatever. So, for that purpose, when you are blocking your money for more than a year, or for a longer duration of time, then of course you have to be very, very cautious that where you are putting your money. So then it becomes very important. So here, when you invest your money for a longer duration of time, the analysis you do here is fundamental analysis. Like here, you study the fundamentals of the company or many other thing. You read the fundamentals. So obviously, so the first thing we need to know about fundamental analysis is that when you are investing your money for a longer duration of time, and you are investing, not trading, you are not gambling, you are not speculating, you want to invest your money, and for maybe 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, for whatever time you want to invest. And for that purpose you have to do fundamental analysis, right? So fundamental analysis is a logical and systematic approach to estimate future dividends. So very logically, very with proper analysis, with proper investigation only, you invest your money in stock market. So we call it investment. We do not call it speculation or trading. We call it investment. So whenever you are going for investment, you are putting your money for a longer duration of time in stock market, then you study the stock market properly, right? So studying the stock market properly by applying various formulas, various investment strategies, like and understanding the ratios of the company. There are a number of things to study the fundamentals of a stock. So we call it fundamental analysis. So it is based upon fundamental premise that share prices can be calculated by a number of fundamental factors. So, there are n number of factors. Maybe we will discuss today various factors, various fundamental factors which affect the stock price. But obviously, we cannot have a list of all the fundamental factors, because as economy is ever changing, ever growing, and change is the only constant. So everything changes, like with new circumstances. Like today we call it like pandemic is there, so the situation is completely different, the strategies are completely different, the fundamentals are completely different. So fundamental analysis is something which change as per the environment. So no matter how much you study, but you have to see the current situation always. Whenever you are investing in market, the current market situation is very, very important. That how do you analyze the current situation? So in fundamental analysis, what we do basically is we study it on the basis of three, factors: economy, industry, and company. So there are three important things: economy, industry, and company. So, first, what we do is first we do check the economy, where do we want to invest. Then we study about the industry, and then we study about the company. So, this is an approach which we follow when we invest in when we want to invest in any stock. So it can be in very simple words, we call it EIC analysis. EIC analysis. So few things we have understood that first, fundamental analysis is done when we want to invest, not trade. And second is this is a systematic approach. So moving forward, each share has a worth on the basis of its present and future earning capacity. So as we have already studied in share valuation, that what we do, we try to find the worth of the stock on the basis of future earnings. Like we earn in the form of dividends and the selling price, future selling price. So we try to find out its present value. So to calculate the present value of these two future incomes, what do we have to do? We have to find its present value. So, but obviously, what would be the dividend? Like in share valuation, we were already given that in year one, this would be the dividend. In year two, this would be the dividend. In year three, this would be the dividend, or this is the growth rate. But point is, how do we calculate all these dividends or growth rates or expected rate of return? There has to be a proper set of information on the basis of which you calculate that okay, this should be the dividend at the end of year one. This should be the dividend at the end of year two. So how do we calculate those dividend? How do we estimate? Basically estimation. We, of course, we calculate, but majorly we call it estimation, right? Everything is expected. Nothing is permanent. That okay, this is going to be the dividend. You cannot say anything with surety. You cannot say anything with surety, and obviously everything is estimation. So this is called the intrinsic value of the share. Like on the basis of future earnings, we calculate the present price of the share and we call it intrinsic value. So moving forward, let us try to understand that how do we, do fundamental analysis. So as I told you, there are three things which we do in fundamental analysis: economic analysis, industry analysis, and company analysis. We have three things, right? So we call it EIC analysis. So usually first we choose an economy on the basis of which we pick a particular stock. First we pick an economy, in which economy we want to invest. Like in today's time, world is a global village, and everything is so globalized that even if you want to invest in a stock of some foreign country, you can easily invest in that country. So first, that's why we call it EIC, that first we pick an economy, in which economy we want to invest. Then once you pick an economy, we choose industry. Like in, if you have chosen, for example, Indian economy, you want to invest in Indian stocks. So in which industry you want to invest, like IT, automobile, or any other industry, which industry you want to invest. Then the third one and the last one which comes here is company. So whenever we do fundamental analysis, we have three sets of criteria on the basis of which we choose a particular stock. So let's first study economic analysis, that on what basis we pick an economy. So the first topic which we are going to discuss today is economic analysis, yeah, or we can say economy analysis. So how do we pick a particular economy? On what basis? Like if I want to pick an economy, I will first try to find out that what are the different growth rates of the company, like the basic things on the basis of which we choose an economy. So whenever we say the economy is good or bad, the first indicator we can say is the GDP of the economy. What is the GDP? So we can say that the growth rates we first see. So there can be GDPs, the first factor on the basis of which we pick an economy is its GDP. The countries whose GDPs are very low, obviously nobody wants to invest in such countries. So the first indicator we see is GDP. Then there are other, growth indicators also, like national incomes. So there can be GNP, or they can be NNP, net national income, and there are different growth rates. So these are the very fundamental factors on the basis of which you pick an economy, right? And other than this, we also try to understand like on what stage this current economy is. There are different business cycles or economic cycles. Economic cycles. So as any other cycles, there are also obviously different stages of an economy. Like there are basically four stages of economy. The first one is depression. The second one is recovery. The third one is boom. And the last one is we can say recession. Recession is also called slowdown, right? So majorly we have four stages of an economy. So these are the four stages we have: depression, recovery, boom, and recession. So according to the cycles of economy, we choose that whether we should buy the stock or not, we should sell it, we should hold it, or whatever. So obviously if the economy is in recession, slowdown period, so this is the good time to buy, because the stock prices would be at its lowest, because the stock prices are at its lowest. Like nowadays it is a bit of recession, so this is a good time to pick stocks which are undervalued. So this is the right time to invest, right? So recession you can buy. And obviously in depression nobody wants to put hands in this phase. In depression nobody wants to put hand in such economies which are going through depression, because it takes a lot of time to recover. So here your holding period may become very long, or maybe you will not earn anything because the economy is really sinking. So this is not a very good situation, and especially there is a lot of risk also, right? So this recovery, at this point of time in recovery, there is a lot of buying in this market, because the economy is reviving, right? So after a recession the economy is growing back, is picking up the pace again. So at this point of time a lot of buying happens in the market, because people are really seeing the changes in the economy, and here people buy also, right? So there is a lot of buying. And when the economy is at boom, so here usually those who are noise traders are those people who do not have a lot of knowledge, but they tend to invest in market. So they usually buy at this point. But boom period is the best time to sell. Whatever you have in your pocket, you just sell it off, because after the economy has reached its peak, and if you keep on holding at boom period, obviously after boom, there would be a slowdown, there would be a downfall in the market. If you keep on holding after in this phase, then you may suffer loss. But point is, how do we analyze that this is the right time to sell? Like obviously when we invest in market, the major problem is that checking your greed. So this is one of the major problem which investors face, because when we are earning, we keep on thinking that okay, let's invest more, let's hold for another few weeks or months, then the price will again rise. So here when we invest in market, keeping check on your greed and your senses is very very important. So these are the phases of economy, and accordingly you invest in market, right? Which economy you choose, like. So obviously the best time to invest in a market in an economy is recession or recovery. So those who are risk takers can invest in recession, and those who are not that much of risk taker, they are a bit of risk averse, they can invest at the time of recovery. But obviously here the profit would be very high. In recession the profits would be very high. If you invest in recession and you take the risk, profits would be higher. At this point profits would be higher, and here if you invest, profits would be a bit less than recession period. Profits would be a little less in comparison to recession, in comparison to if you have invested in recession. So obviously here risk is less, but in at the time of recession risk is also very high. That's why profits would be higher, right? Higher the risk, higher the returns. So here risk is comparatively higher. Okay, so these are the phases of economy. So next point, let's move on to next point. So second point we have, when you choose an economy, the second indicator you see is inflation. Inflation. So what should be the inflation rate of an economy where you want to invest? So obviously the inflation should be less. Inflation should be less, because when you are investing in an economy which is overly inflated is basically you are buying securities or assets which are overpriced, so you are paying more than what their worth is. When you invest in an economy which is inflated, you are buying overpriced goods, overpriced stocks or anything, overpriced stocks. So the stocks you are paying more than the worth. You are paying more than the worth of the stock. So obviously if you are paying more, then you cannot expect that you are going to earn good, because you are already paying more than its worth. So we should never buy something which is overpriced. So here the major problem in inflation is at times we get confused that the economy is doing good or everything is costly. So this is another problem. In case of inflation, you may have that to differentiate whether the economy is doing good or it is inflated, right? People get confused in this. So second point is inflation. Third is interest rates. So in case of interest rates, one should always invest in an economy whose interest rates are, low. Obviously, if interest rates are low, then it means the loans are available in the market at a cheaper rates. So when loans are available at cheaper rates, there would be better flow of money in the market. So what does this mean? Cheap availability, cheap availability of funds, which ultimately leads to better flow of income in the market, better flow of money in the market. So money is easily available. It means people have good savings and they're ready to lend the money in the market, right? So better flow of money in the market. So one should always invest in a market. As an investor, also you should choose an economy which is having better income, better flow of money in the market, and obviously if there is better flow of money in the market, the interest rate would be lower, right? Then moving forward, fourth point. Fourth point is government revenue expenditure and deficits. So basically, government expenditures, revenue and deficits. So point is that government, if government expenditures are good, it means government has money in their hand to spend in the economy, and obviously government will get money in the form of taxes only. So what is the revenue which government is getting? It means if people are able to pay more taxes, it means their income is good and they are in a position to invest in stock. It means the economy is sound, right? So the government expenditures, revenue and deficits, all these things you understand with the help of budgets. So in whichever economy you want to invest, you should really see the budget of the economy. So on the basis of the budget, you will understand that what is the deficit. If there is more of deficit every year, it means economy is investing more, government is investing more, and they're not receiving anything in return. So obviously it means people are not earning good, they are not able to pay taxes. So one should always choose an economy where revenues are equal to expenditures. But in certain cases it may happen that revenues are right now not that good. It may happen that revenues are not that good, but in that case you must see that maybe government has started a new project, government has started, for example, new factories, new employment opportunities are developed by the country, by the economy, by the government. So in that case, it may take maybe 3-4 years to get back revenues. So you must see the budget very carefully. Only seeing like what is the expenditure and what is the revenue. If revenue is less, I will not invest in that country. That is also a very blind approach. So you must see if expenditure is more than revenue, then what is the reason? If expenditure is more than revenue, it may be economy has invested in certain projects and it may take 1 or 2 years, 3 years to get the return. So it is a very good situation to invest. So this is how you have to analyze, like whether you should invest in this particular economy or not. So obviously the difference, the reason you have to see, right? The next point is exchange rates. So in case of exchange rates, exchange rate is usually we see exchange rates with dollar only, usually. But obviously, if you're trading in a with a particular country, you will see that. But exchange rate, you have to see that whether what is the price of the currency in comparison to dollar, right? So there are two scenarios in exchange rate: currency appreciation and currency depreciation. So there are two scenarios. So currency appreciation is, for example, $1 equals to 75 rupees, for example. This is the current situation. Okay, we call it the current situation. So this is the situation given to us. So now, for example, this exchange rate has changed, and now it is $1 equals to 73 rupees. So now we call it currency appreciation, because earlier we had to pay 75 rupees to pay $1 to buy $1, but now we have to pay only 73 rupees to buy $1. So this is called currency appreciation, right? The worth of in rupees increasing here. But in second case, for example, $1 equals to 78 rupees. Now earlier you had to pay 75 rupees to buy $1. Now you have to pay 78 rupees to buy $1. So obviously in this case, you have to pay more. When you have to pay more to buy $1, it is called currency depreciation. So you have to see wherever, in whichever country you are investing, that whether the currency is appreciating or depreciating. So but it is not necessary that you always have to invest in a country where the currency is appreciating. For example, you are an exporter, right? So you are exporting something and you are going to receive money in the form of dollars. So obviously in that case, if the currency now has become 73, it is not a very good situation for an exporter. So I'll just write it here. For exporters, it is not a very good situation. So you have to see that what is the right situation for you. But obviously for importer, it is a good situation. For importer, it's a good situation. And vice versa in case of currency depreciation. Okay, so it depends. Like for example, you are investing in a company which is exporter, majorly an exporter. So this is not a good situation for you, currency appreciation, so you cannot go for this, right? So it completely depends. Do not go with the name that we must invest in an economy which is whose currency is appreciating or whose currency is depreciating. You must see that what is the right situation for you, whether you should invest in an economy whose currency is appreciating or depreciating, or you are investing in exporters company or importers company. So here in case of depreciation, this scenario will change, right? So moving forward, next is infrastructure. The next point we have is infrastructure. So obviously, if you are investing in a company, in an economy, so the infrastructure should be good enough. Like in infrastructure, many things comes. For example, the banking infrastructure, the electricity, Wi-Fi, and roads, bridges. So many things comes under infrastructure. So this is obviously you can invest in an economy which has sound infrastructure. But again, if for example you are investing in an economy which is underdeveloped or developing, for example you are investing in IT sector, and you are in and that IT sector is going to develop in an economy which currently do not have any facility. So obviously this is your potential market, right? So this is your potential market and you are investing at a very pioneering stage. So this can be a good situation for you also. So this weakness may become your opportunity. So one should always find things from where they can convert their weaknesses into opportunities. Do not think weaknesses as weaknesses. Weaknesses are always opportunities. So see the positive side, but obviously you have to be very wise when you are picking an economy. So that is why these factors do not go with the names. Just try to understand that which situation is good for you. Then the next factor is monsoon. Obviously, there are many countries which are not having good monsoon, or maybe the countries where the living conditions are very bad. So obviously, there would not be so many trades. More companies will not set up there where living situations are not good. So I have written monsoon, but we can also call it weather also. Yeah. So monsoon or weather we can say. So it is important that one should invest in the country where weather is fine, so that people can survive there. There are countries where people, obviously nobody would like to invest in a country, Antarctica or something, where weather is so cold, nobody lives there. So you have to pick an economy where weather conditions are good. Then the last one is economic and political stability. So obviously you want to invest in an economy where political stability is there. Why political stability is so important here? Because if the government changes very frequently, then it will become difficult for you to survive, because with every government new policies will come and they will change the whole scenario. Maybe when you have invested in an economy, the person in the government in power had a very favorable policies for you as an investor. But now very frequently, if the government change, then the new government may not have a very good policies for you as an investor. So obviously you must invest, you must pick an economy which is going to give you stability, because you are investing, you're not trading, you are going to hold the stock or the security for a longer duration of time to earn good profits. So if the political stability is not there, for example, there are countries like which are having which do not have democracy, which are like there is dictatorship. Though, so there can be changes very soon. So you have to pick an economy which is suitable for you. But maybe at times dictatorship may help you as an investor, or at times democracy may help you as an investor. So do not, again I will say, do not invest as per the name. You have to understand the opportunity, that which situation is going to be favorable for you as an investor. So that is all about economic analysis.